Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Sivadas Madhavan, Associate Professor of English, Sivadas University. I'm a research guide to the PhD students of Sivadas University, Ethiopia. I'm going to start a series of lectures on the research topics. And the first of this series is Introduction to Research. I hope after listening to me, if you like it, you will subscribe the videos and send me your comments. Your comments will be very helpful to me to control myself and to arrange my future lectures. So, come to the point. Our topic is Introduction to Research. When we talk about the research, we have to look into its history and its language. Because to understand anything, we need its history and language. For example, if you put 3 dogs, 2 on the line and 1 above them, a 4th grade student will say, this is the symbol that we use in mathematics for therefore. If you ask a housewife in the countryside, she will say, this is a country oven that we make in the kitchen to cook food. Or a farmer will say that this is the face of a coconut. It has 3 eyes on the top. So it depends on the attitude of the people who watch it and the way they look at it, or their attitude, their interest, or their approach. Similarly, if you show a table to an English student and if you ask him, he will say, this is a table, and what is it? Then he will give you a single sentence definition saying, a table is a piece of furniture with 4 legs and a flat surface made up of plastic, wood or metal, and it is used to keep things on. So that will be the correct definition in the language. But if you ask a physics student, he will say, this is a matter which contains millions of molecules which are always moving about. So people will not understand that. Common people will laugh at him saying that, oh, it's dancing all the time, molecules are dancing in it. So to understand that, you have to study the physics from the beginning. You have to learn what is matter, and to learn that you need the language. So to understand something, you need the language and its history. For example, if you take art, modern art, if you see a piece of modern art, you may not understand it. But if you go through the history of the art, you will understand it. The earlier ancient art was in the caves, on the rocks, and they were just scratching the figures and animals or the instruments they were using to hunt animals or to harvest the corns, etc. And later, when people started using paper, they started to make paintings and drawings, and so many changes took place, and it reached the present modern art form. So only a person who follows the history can understand it very well. Or take a piece of story, a piece of literature. To understand that, you have to know what it was in the past. How short stories were 100 years ago, or 50 years ago, or 20 years ago. And then only you will be able to understand what a modern short story is. And the same way, to understand research, you have to go back to its history. So when did they start? Actually, research started along with the beginning of the life. Human beings found out so many things, and all these things are the result of their investigation, their research. They were looking for information. Actually, research is knowledge hunting, and the origin of the term is from French language. It is from the word cherche, or research. That means research. And research, we will come to the definitions later. Research means investigation, looking for information or knowledge. So, in short, research is knowledge hunting. And people do that. It's a part of human life. Everybody is involved in research. Even the common people, even villagers, illiterates. You can see in the village a farmer who wants to pluck the mango from the tree will devise his own special device to collect mango without letting it fall down onto the ground. He may make a hook with a basket like net below the hook, and he will hook it, and he will get the mango in the basket without letting it fall onto the ground, without spoiling, without damaging. He will pluck the mangoes from the tree. So he invents such devices for his purpose. So this is how things were invented in the beginning. For example, making shoes for the human beings, making dress for the human beings. You see, all the businessmen, they go on doing research and find out the new needs of the people and get the things done. So when life changes, research also changes. So research is a part of life. When you want to buy something, for example, if you want to buy a bag, you will ask your friends which type of bag is good. Or if you want to buy a shoe, you will ask your friends which shoe is better, which is economical, which is durable, which is comfortable. If you want to buy a car, you will ask your friends, or you will look into the newspapers and magazines to see the advertisement. So whenever you try to buy, you will investigate. That is your research. You conduct the research and get the result and decide what to do, what to buy, and what to use, etc. So research is a part of life. So that is informal research. And what the students do in the university is formal research. And informal research most of the time happened by chance. When a farmer wants something, he thinks about it and he gets it. Sometimes research happens unknowingly, without any prior decision. A scientist or a person who is very scientific happens to come to that conclusion or to come to that knowledge. For example, Newton was sitting under the tree, under the apple tree. An apple fell onto his head and he began to think, why did it fall onto my head? Why didn't it go up? Or why didn't it go sideways? And he realized that there is the gravity of the earth, the force of gravitation was the reason why the apple fell onto his head. And the same way, Archimedes found out the law of buoyancy when he was taking a shower in the tub. And the moment he realized that scientific truth, he ran out and ran to the streets of Syracuse shouting Eureka, without dress and without knowing what he was doing, because of the thrill, because of the excitement. So that was also unexpected incident that led to the discovery of the scientific truth. So whatever we have now is the result of the past research. And whatever we do now will be the information for the future. So we collect data and we process data and get the result or the information or knowledge. So to get information, we process data. Data is the unprocessed information, and information is the processed data. That is the relationship between data and information. The scientist Creswell in 2002 said, research is collecting, analyzing, interpreting and writing the result. Interpreting the data and writing result. That is collecting, analyzing and interpreting data and writing the result. That is research. So there is nothing wrong with saying that research is knowledge hunting. A researcher is hunting for the knowledge. And there are so many interesting stories about how people come to the new knowledge. There is a very interesting sarcastic explanation of how people started cooking meat. Charles Lamb wrote in his Essays of Elia about a family in China who started cooking, and the title of the essay is the dissertation on roast pig. A family had 7 naughty children. Parents were going away, and the parents asked the children to keep quiet and be disciplined. They said okay, but when the parents left, they started to play with the fire. They entered the kitchen and took the fire and ran around the house, and to make a huge fire, they set their house to fire, and all the pigs in the house were burned and cooked well, and they started to eat. When the parents came, they also tasted the roasted pig. And later on, they didn't tell anyone. They made the hut again and brought the new pigs. This time, father gave the fire to the house, and the house was burnt. After that, they ate the cooked meat. So every now and then, they started to make their own hut, and they will, their house will be burnt. And the next day, they are very happy to eat the roasted pig. And the neighbors were very curious, and they went to the court complaining against the neighbor who was burning the house every now and then. And the court asked why it happens. What do you do to your house? And the person didn't have any other choice. He told him, this is the reason. After burning the house, we get well cooked meat. So a very foolish family. And you know, Charles Lamb says that day the magistrate set fire to his own house to eat cooked meat, and the next day onwards the whole village started to burn the house. It's very funny. It's a sarcastic essay, you can see. But what I want to tell you is the knowledge they got, by chance they got, and then they started using. Afterwards, people started cooking meat and started eating. So these are some examples to show that research is a part of life, and research will continue. Sometimes some research students will have a doubt, so what shall we do? All the research topics are done by the earlier students and there is no topic for us to do. But it is not true. It will continue. When our life continues, when there are new things in our life, we have to find out new things. So research will continue forever until the end of our lives. So there is no limit to it. So a researcher contributes to the body of existing knowledge. If a researcher doesn't contribute anything to the existing body of knowledge, that is not a research. So he has to find out something new to contribute to the body of existing knowledge. So for that, scientific research, formal research will be scientific research. Scientific research is done in the universities or in the labs or in the companies, organizations, etc. So these researchers are academic researchers. You know, academic researchers are most of the time in universities or in such institutions. So the research will be completely based on the scientific matters, systematic. So formal research is academic research, or academic research is formal research, and it is systematic or scientific. Scientific means science means the systematic study of knowledge. So you select a research topic and you study it scientifically. That is the systematic knowledge of study. So to do that, researchers select a topic and they start the research by conducting studies on data they collect, they interpret it and write the report. That is the research. And that's enough for the introduction, and we will come up with some other topics in the next lecture. Thank you till then. Bye.